What's up guys, Kyle here again, and welcome back to another episode of FAQ'N Friday. Summer NAMM has come and passed, and I missed my first episode of FAQ'N Friday last week, so I apologize. But I am back, it's back to regular life and back to getting some content pumped out for you guys. Speaking of content, I have an idea for a new episode and I need your guys' help on this. I think it'd be a great way to get some of my viewers in on the channel in order to interact directly and kind of put you guys in some of my videos. I've always wanted to think of a way to do that. So this new series is going to be called Tweak My Tone. And the basis of the series is you guys are going to record a video of yourself playing, and it can be on a cell phone. It doesn't have to be anything professional, just a good sounding recording of any sort where I can really hear your guys' tone. And I want you guys to tell me what it is that you think that your tone is missing, and I will give you guys my suggestions on how I think that you can get it closer to where you want it to be. So again, just take a quick video of yourself playing, put it up on YouTube, and then shoot me the link via my email, which will be down in the description of this video. And I'd like to get one of these out next week so you guys can start pumping these submissions out right away. I'll probably start with 3. And again, I will give you suggestions as far as pickups, pedals, different cabs, speakers, anything, even down to settings. If you guys just want to tweak your settings, how to get a little bit closer to that tone in your head with the gear that you have, or what gear I think would get you closer to where you want to be. Because honestly, the #1 question that I get in my inbox is, hey, I have this, but I can't make it sound like this. How do I get closer? Or I have this amp, but I'm just not getting the sounds out of it that I want. Do you have any suggestions? So I figured, you know what? Why don't we make a series out of this? You guys will send me your videos. I'll check them out, and then I will give you my suggestions on what you should do based on your tone and what you want to change about it. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be an exciting new series. I hope you guys dig it. So get those submissions going as soon as possible, and we'll get a new video up next week. Also, one more quick thing before we jump into the questions. I am filling in on bass for my friends in the band Human Animal. You guys have seen me wear their shirts. You guys have seen me mention them because I borrowed some of their gear for videos and stuff before. I'm filling in for them on July 30th down in Pittsburgh at a venue called Preserving Underground. So if you guys are in the Pittsburgh area, you guys want to come check out the band, come hang out, talk gear for a little bit, check the flyer here for all the details and let me know if you're coming. It would be great to see some of you guys in the wild and talk gear with you. So if you're in the area, don't miss it. All right, let's get to some questions. First question comes from Carlos Salazar. He asks, what's your used gear buying process? As an avid used buyer, curious to know. Well, that could mean a number of things, so I'm just gonna kind of walk you through what I do when I search for gear. I search via a number of different places, and I think I've mentioned this before, but like Guitar Center really has been the main place where I'm still able to find deals in the used gear section. So I will go online to Guitar Center's website, and I have a list of specific search terms. I've kind of figured out how to search certain items in order to encompass kind of everything that I'm looking for. And usually this brings up, sometimes things are mislabeled, but I can still find them due to the search terms. Like I'll search used tube amp and I'll go from most expensive to least expensive, and I'll just go all the way down the line, and sometimes I'll see stuff that pops out at me and I'll grab it. I do the same with cabs, and then I'll do the same with guitar brands. So I'll search ESP, I'll search Schecter, I'll search Gibson, but I usually do Gibson from low to high, because the only Gibsons that you can really get good deals on are the cheaper ones these days. I feel like all the more expensive ones are really hard to come by a decent deal. They've always been tough to get deals from at Guitar Center because Guitar Center's always priced the standard level and up Gibsons really high. So yeah, that's how I look on Guitar Center. Now for Craigslist, I use what is called Search Tempest. And what Search Tempest is a nationwide search engine where you can put in your keyword, you can put in the category, and then you can put the search span or the distance that you want to search within the United States, and I will literally just max that thing out. So I search the entire country, and I'll type in something like Splawn, and I'll search, and it'll say you have results in 39 cities, and I hit open all, and it opens 39 web pages, and I go through those web pages one by one, looking for anything that is priced decently, and then I'll hit those sellers up. And a lot of the time, if they're on Craigslist, they're not willing to ship, but a lot of the time they are. So I found a lot of deals by doing that as well. So again, Splawn is just an example. You can type in whatever you're looking for. The more specific you search, the less results you're gonna find. And I've noticed that people who list things on Craigslist don't always do a great job of putting everything in the description properly. So I try to keep my searches a little bit more on the vague side in order to kind of encompass more search results, and I found a lot of deals by doing that as well. And then finally, I'll look on Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace used to be a really good place to try and find used gear deals, but of course, Facebook ruined it. They completely ruined it. It's practically unusable at this point. I mean, I'll find stuff here and there, but man, I used to find a lot of stuff, but the algorithm has kind of ruined it. And of course, Facebook found a way to make money off Marketplace. So they put all the sponsored listings and all the listings that they get commissions off first. So even if I sort everything out by local only, as opposed to shipping and local, because half the people who mark their items as available to ship won't ship them because they don't know what they're doing. So that's something that I've encountered more times than I can count, and it's extremely frustrating when you find a good deal on something and then the person's like, yeah, I'm not gonna ship this. Well, bro, it says shipping in your ad. You might wanna figure out what you're doing here before you go posting things for sale on the internet. But anyways, I digress. I will sort things by local only, and still it will pop up things from all over the country because they are Facebook ads. They are Facebook sponsored ads where somebody paid Facebook to bump them up in the search engine. It's almost become unusable at this point. Like even if I search specific terms, like I get terrible search results. Like it's just really hard to kind of sort through them. So I've kind of lost my patience with it. And I really don't check Facebook Marketplace like all that thoroughly like I used to, because I feel like I'm just wasting my time half the time. So unfortunately, that one has kind of gone out the window, but all the other ones still apply. So that is how I go about finding used gear. Now, if you mean like, how do I check it over? How do I inspect it? Blah, blah, blah. I think that is a whole other topic. So if that is what you meant and I answered the question in the incorrect way, just leave a comment down below, man, and I will try to get to that one again next week and clarify on that aspect of how I search for used gear. All right. Nehi, you're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce this, bro, because I've been answering your questions a lot and I feel like an idiot every time I try to pronounce your name. Asks, hey man, what would you recommend as the best budget cabs for a small rig? I've been searching for Marshall Mode 4 cabs as they seem to be amazing. So yeah, the Mode 4 used to be a great budget kind of sleeper cab. Like they weren't the cheapest cab out there, but you could still find them for 250, 300 bucks like fairly often. I bought both of the MF400 cabs that I originally had for 199 bucks each plus shipping from Guitar Center. It ended up being like 235 or something after shipping, something crazy like that for both of them. That's no longer the case. People have kind of caught on to those cabs and realized that they are a great, well-constructed cab with good speakers from Marshall. So now you're looking at 400 to 500 bucks. And at that point, you're in the used Mesa cab range. Now the Mesa cabs have gone up a little bit, but still the Mode 4 is pretty much right in line price-wise with those. So as far as budget cabs, the PV 412 MS, the old ones with the super rough Tolex and the cloth front with like the cream binding on them, also known as the butcher cabs, those have the old Celestion K85s in them. Most of them do, not all of them. The later ones do not have those speakers, but the majority of those cabs have the K85s in them. Those have always been my go-to for budget cabs. I've owned more of those than I could possibly count. I have a full stack of them in my basement right now. Typically, you can get them for 200 to 250 bucks these days. I used to be able to buy them for like $100 or less all the time. So at one point I had a wall of like 5 of them. I'll see if I can find that picture. But yeah, those things are absolutely incredible as far as a budget-minded cab goes. They're all ply, super thick. I think they're 5/8 birch ply. Real heavy duty construction, built rock solid. So that's my number 1 choice for a budget cab. My number 2 choice would probably be a Crate Blue Voodoo that is loaded with the vintage 30s. They have UK V30s in them. Those are also birch. They're built extremely stout, super heavy duty, also 5/8 inch birch, stiff and solid cabs, and they've got the UK V30s in them. So those also have kind of come up in price a little bit over the past couple of years. You used to be able to get them for 200 to 250 bucks. They're probably 300 to 350 now just because the speakers alone are worth that or a little bit more because people are willing to pay more for the UK V30. But yeah, those would be my number 1 and 2 choices. Honorable mentions are the Line 6 cab that has the vintage 30s in them. I have one over in the corner here. They're not built with like finger joints or anything like that. I don't think that they're braced on the inside in the corners like more expensive cabs are, but they're still a decent cab and they sound good. They have V30s and you can usually get those for around 300 bucks. So those are another great option, and honestly, they pop up fairly often. I've owned probably 5 or 6 of those over the past 5 years, and they sound good. There's nothing wrong with them. Just don't drop them down a flight of stairs and they will be okay. I had one shipped from Guitar Center a couple years ago and they didn't pack it very well, and it was split at the corner because there's no additional bracing. There's no finger joining or anything there to keep them together in situations like that, but they do still sound good. So keep that in mind. All right, final question is from Pete Chantrasuk. Chantrasuk? I don't know. Tell me how bad I butchered that when you watch this back, man. He says, hey Kyle, how would you say a 2x12 can compare to a 4x12 cab in the room? Considering both cabs have the same speakers, which would you say generally sounds darker and less harsh? Thanks for your question, Pete. I'm gonna say it's all gonna depend on the cab, man. It's gonna depend on the cab, and the reason I say that is because a 4x12 angle with a metal front is gonna be extremely bright and harsh, whereas a 2x12 Mesa, they have that special dipped, I forget, jute cloth on the front that kind of darkens the highs a little bit, and I believe Orange has a super dark or a super thick grill cloth on the front of their cabinets that darkens the highs. It really like muffles some of the high-end frequencies, and that's why people tend to like those cabs a little bit better, because V30s can get a little spiky on the top, mostly in the high mids, and it's a little hard on the ears sometimes. So it's gonna depend on the cab. It's also gonna depend on the cab construction. A 2x12 is not automatic. A 2x12 is not automatically gonna sound a certain way versus a 4x12. So the construction is gonna matter. There are oversized 2x12s that sound like 4x12 cabs. The Friedman 2x12 cab with the little port in the back sounds like a 4x12 cab. So it really depends on the cabinet, the construction, what the front grille covering is. So there's a lot of different variables, man, and you're really gonna have to unfortunately test them out one by one to figure out which one is right for you. Cabs are very specific. It's a very polarizing topic because some people are gonna like certain things out of a cab, and it's also gonna matter what head you're using too. If you have something dark and kind of loose like a Mesa rectifier, it's gonna sound better through a cab that is tighter on the low end and a little brighter on the high end or in the mids, like an Engel front-loaded cabinet. That's more personal preference than it is factual, but a lot of the times, if I'm going for a certain tone, I'm going to pair the head with a cab that is going to give the head something that it is missing. The cab is going to add some frequencies that the head is missing, or it's going to accentuate some frequencies of the head that sound good. It's all about putting the pieces of the puzzle together to get your tone just right. So overall, I can't say there's a definitive answer to that question, because there's so many different sized 2x12 cabs with different materials. Even if the speakers are the same, a 212 and a 412 could sound drastically different, or they could sound really, really similar. So you really got to go out there, man, and try those things for yourself, because there's no one answer. There's no one size fits all for that question. So sorry, that probably doesn't help at all. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me on the questions today. As always, I really appreciate you guys leaving your questions. For next week, down in the comments of this video, leave your questions and I will get to as many of them as I can. I just wanted to say thanks real quick for all the support that you guys showed last week when I mentioned that I had lost my job and was going full-time with the channel. You guys, there was not a negative comment on that entire comment thread. All you guys were super motivating and encouraging, and definitely just make me feel like I am moving in the right direction with this thing. So just wanted to take a second and say thank you to all you guys. I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me, and it makes me really happy that I am able to do this as much as I am now. So all right, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you have a great weekend. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.